Hey everyone, Nupkas here. We are back with another videos. Today we have a lot of updates coming up on these Epic stores and the new deals on the Steam. So without wasting any time, let's get to the video. So the first free games from the Epic store is coming up from this Mages of Mystralia. It's an adventure action magic indie fantasy game. In the world of magic, your mind is the greatest weapon. Learn the ways of the magic and design your own spell to fight enemies, navigate treacherous terrain, and right past wrongs in the kingdom of Mystralia. So this pretty indie games, kind of a games which we know all about the platforming and kind of a roguelike fantasy games. So with the puzzles and all this stuff. So it's a free, so go add it to the library on the Epic Store. So moving to the next segment, which is coming up from the Steam deals. So the first amazing deals from the game is coming out from the Star Wars Outlaws. Sorry for that, it's not even in my list. So the first one is coming up from the Lies of P. So Lies of P is 40% off, 2,220. It's a Souls-like action dark fantasy action RPG games, which is one of the best and improved Souls-like games you can ever gonna play. And remember, there is a DLC coming up, which is the Lies of P Overture Storyteller game DLCs. So basically, you are new locations, new weapons, and new enemies, and new tales from the side of a puppet, Pinocchio. So this is thrilling a Souls-like that takes the story of the Pinocchio turns out on its head. It sits against the darkly elegant backdrop of the Battle Europa era. So you are a puppet created by Geppetto, who caught in a wave of lies and unimaginable monsters and untrustworthy figures standing between you and the events that be befallen on the worlds of Lies of P. So this is 40% off, 2,220, almost a great deal right now, because if you want to have the DLCs and all these upcoming games, so you need to experience the first Lies of P's as well. So that's 40% off, $22 to $23. So that's a great deal. The next game is coming up from the multiplayer perspective and World War II realistic shooter games is the Hell Let Loose, which is Deluxe Editions 2062, almost like a $21 to $22. So this game is predominantly join the service of expanding experience of the Hell Let Loose, a hardcore World War II first-person shooters with the epic battles of the 100 players, with the infantry, tanks, artillery, and dynamic shifting front lines on a unique resources-based RTS-inspired meta games. So this is 50% off, 2062, almost like a $20 to $21. The next game is coming up from the 7 Days to Die. So if you wanted to experience the being inspired from the zombies, I believe this is the 7 Days to Die, 30% off, $1,170, almost like a $12 to $13. So it's a survival zombie multiplayer open world game, which is a unique combination of the first-person shooters, survival, horror, tower defense, and role-playing games. Play the definitive zombie survival sandbox RPG that comes first. Never's Gain awaits. So 35% off, and there is a 1st March surprise sale, and there was a February updates as well, which is 1.3 stable updates. So 35% off, $1,170, almost like $11 to $12. So that's a great deal. The next game is coming up from the Medium, which is 60% off, $1,199, almost like $12 to $13. So it's an adventure horror female protagonist in dark fantasy world, which you have discovered the mystery only a medium can solve. Travel on an abandoned communist resort and use your unique psychic abilities, to uncover these deeply disturbing secrets, solve the dual reality puzzles, survive encounters with the sinister spirits, and explore into the two realities at the same time. This is the always multiverse kind of a game where you always know that what you are living on, it's not the reality at all. So you are living in two realities at the same time, trying to solve the puzzles in the real time. So you have to solve the puzzles in both timelines, and you are playing as well. So kind of like a three timelines at the same time. So it's a 60% off, $1,199, almost like a $12 to $13. That's a great deal. So the next game is coming up from the Atlas Fallen Reign of Sand edition, which is 50% off, $949, almost like a $10 to $11. So this game is an action-adventure action RPG, which is the solo or the co-op. Experience the Reign of Sands and ultimate versions of the Atlas Fallen, ride the sands of timeless lands, and defeat the legendary monsters in this spectacular action RPG combat using devastating powers. So it's a 50% off, $949, almost like a $10 to $11. So it's also received a patches 5.4, which is the latest one. So it's worth to check it out. Next game is Evil West. So Evil West is 70% off, $6.89, almost like a $7 to $8, which is the dark menace consumed in the Old West. Solo or co-op, fight with the style of the visceral, explosive combat against the bloodthirsty monstrosities. Eradicate the vampire horde with your lightning-fueled gauntlet and become a Wild West superheroes. So it's a beat-em-up Western action-adventure co-op games set in a Western where you have the guns and the gauntlets and the evils, monsters, and all the devils as well. So this is the games and vampiric living creatures as well. So this is also revealing the secrets of the vampiric world in the Western environment. So it's kind of a games like you will experience like God of War in the Western style. So definitely we assume that this is highly inspired from that, and also feel some of the parts of the gameplays as well. So it's 70% off, $6.89, almost like a $7 to $8. So I will highly suggest that the graphics fidelity is totally top notch as well. According to the last, it's 2 years before of the current years now. So I believe this is the best you can get from the Focus Entertainment. So that's a great deal, 70% off, $6.89, almost like $7 to $8. So it's worth to check it out. The next game is coming up from the Plague Tale Requiem, which is 60% off, $9.19, almost like a $10 to $11. While you can take the Plague Tale bundle, which is Plague Tale Requiem and Plague Tale Innocence, which is 60% off, $11.54, which is also like $12 to $13. So it is the embark of the heart trending journey of the brutal, breathtaking world that discover the cost of saving those who you love in a desperate struggle of survival. Strike from the shadows, unleash hell with a variety of weapons, tools, and unearthly powers. So this is a story of your sister and the brother. So you play as Amnesia and you control some of the abilities of your brother is Hugo. So the total stories of the royal family stuck in a medieval world which is being destroyed by the plague and being hunted by the other kingdoms invaders. So this is all stories about that, and you have the brothers have the mystical powers as well, and also the enemies have a high levels of the powers as well. So they want to control you, and that's where the plague and who controls the plague, who controls the world. So that's kind of scenarios of the game is. So 60% off, $919, sorry, which is $10 to $11. While if you buy on a bundle, 65% off, $11.54, almost like a $12 to $13. So the next game is the beautiful one, is coming up from the Stray, which is 40% off, $7.49, almost like $8 to $9, which is kind of a cute, and you have if you are a cat lovers and the cat adventurers, so you will stay in the cat adventures atmospheric cyberpunk cuteness wall as well. While lost, alone, and separated from the family, a stray cat must untangle the ancient mysteries to escape a long forgotten cyber city and find their way home. So you're stuck in a cyberpunk world where you are alone and you need to find your spaces where to get exit from the cyberpunk world and their high-tech enemies. So this is 40% off, $7.49. I totally suggest you to buy this because highly unique and enjoying and kind of fun and relaxing game as well. So this is you play as a cat, you try to figure out all the puzzles and where. So 40% off, $7.49. That's a great deal. It's worth to check it out, which is $7 to $8. So the next game is coming up from the Soulslingers. The Soulslingers have a demo available as well, and it's 40% off, $4.86, almost like a $5 to $6. So you are a gunslinger in a limbo, involved into the gritty war against the cartel, a ruthless organization harvesting souls to break free of those cycles of the afterlife. Grow stronger with each new run, gather the essence of the lost souls to take on the biggest threats in the roguelite FPS. So kind of a great unique elements to it, because you play as a Souls-like game which has guns as well. So it's a 40% off, $4.86, $5 to $6. So it's an early access. I'm not very fond of the early access as well. So I believe this is kind of a good deals right now, because also 40% off, $4.86, almost like a $4 to $5. So I think that's a pretty cheap to get this kind of a games and feel the early access and all the concepts from the Souls side with the guns. So that's a great deal. So the next is coming up from the Assassin's Creed. Not very fond of the latest one, but I still believe the Unity was the great one, which is 75% off, $3.74, almost like a $3 to $4. So it's a great one based on the French revolutions, and the game was remarkable, ahead of its time when it was released, to renders all these hundreds of NPCs and the unscalable buildings in the French walls. So that's totally breathtaking environments which was set in this Assassin's Creed Unity. So It's a 75% off, 374, almost like a $4 to $5, when you play as a Orno, a young man who embark upon the extraordinary journey to expose the true powers behind the French revolutions, and brand new co-op mode as well, which is kind of work right now, but I'm not pretty sure about that. You play the throne in the middle of the ruthless struggles for the fate of the nation. The 75% off, 374, almost like a $3 to $4, so it's worth to check it out. So next we have our favorite one, which is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the gold editions is available, which is 70% off, $5.99, almost like a $6 to $7. So this game is set on a pirating, which is the open world Assassin's Adventure RPG, set on the 1715 pirates of the rules the Caribbean and establish their own lawless republics where the corruption, greediness and cruelty rare commonplace among those outlaws in a branch of young captain named Edward Kenway. So you play as Edward Kenway and their journey as you become the father of the Edward Kenway. So this comes up to where you started with the piratings, having the ships, and then you join the assassins to help them. So it's a pretty good journey with the Blackbeard and all the pirates. It's been historically we have the data, and all the other pirates will have been mentioned here in this game. So that's the great open world experience to have piratings and ship naval battles. So that was a leap ahead of its time when they have introduced in 2013-14 as well. So that's a great deals from this games, which is 70% off, $5.99, almost like a $6 to $7. So it's worth to check it out. The next game is my favorite one from this Ubisoft, which is the Watch Dogs. So Watch Dogs is 75% off, $3.49, almost like a $3 to $4, while the Watch Dogs Complete Editions from all the DLCs, which is Season Pass, Bad Blood, and the Conspiracy DLCs. So it's 80% off, $4.19, almost like a $4 to $5. You play as Eden Pierce, a brilliant hacker, a former thug whose criminal past led to a violent family tragedy. Now on the hunt for those who hunt your family, you will be able to monitor and hack all those surround you by manipulating everything connected to the city network, access the omnipresent security cameras, download personal information to locate a target, control traffic lights and public transportations to stop enemy, and more. Use the city of the Chicago as your ultimate weapon and exert your own style of revenge. So it's 75% off, $3.49. If you buy the complete editions, you will get 80% off, $4.19. So I believe this was a unique games with the hacking and all the combats as well, where you take the revenge games. So it's a pretty good games, and I love that. Watch Dogs 1, I don't like the Watch Dogs 2. So these are the conclusions from these all deals which have a free on the Epic Store, and these are the deals which is currently on the Steam sale, while we have the only sales are going on from the Ubisoft publishers, which I don't want to cover at all. So if anything new comes up, I'll surely bring back the videos. So that's it from my side. I'll bring the new updates on the videos of the video games and the news and updates. So I'll meet you in the next. So thank you for watching this video. Peace out.
Yeah, boy.